take yourself so seriously. Yeah, don't take yourself too seriously because at a young age, and this was my experience for sure, but in general, I feel like it's very easy to be influenced by other people's goals and other people's sense of not ego, but just other people's standards that rub off on you before forming your own. So if you're around people that are imposing this grand vision for themselves and for others, and you're not quite ready for that, I feel like you could be infused with this sense of, everything has to be so epic. And especially the environments that I've grown up in and been in school in, I feel like that was a big part of my experience. And it wasn't until I got older where I started to realize, it's really, don't take yourself so seriously. It's not that it's not that grand, everything in life and music. And yeah, I would definitely say that to myself.
It's not so much musical advice, more like life advice would be just like, it's gonna work out, man. Because I always told myself it will, and there was always that thing that was like, okay, we're gonna do this. I'm gonna find a way to get to where I want to get. But there's always that little bit of doubt that was like, maybe this just doesn't work out. Maybe I'm putting all this effort into something that's gonna lead me to a place where I don't want to be. But I think if I look at the darkest or lowest points I had musically, and there have been a couple of those along the way where like I was ready just to go do something else. There's a couple times where like, to the point where like I was looking to see if my my music school credits could be applied to getting into law school. Like I was calling the university in Winnipeg to go down that route. Like I was ready basically to do it. But I think it would have just been if me from the future right now could go back and tell me from the past, it's going to be okay. Stick with it. You'll figure it out. And moments where I saw friends succeeding and I was having like a lot of not positive emotions about that. Seeing them succeed and that thing that I wanted so bad was being achieved by people who were in like, had put no more effort into it than I had. When they were getting what I wanted so deeply, like a deep sense of jealousy was brewing there. And it was something where I just would push it down and say, don't act on this, don't do anything with this. But if me from the future just could have reminded me, it's going to be okay, stay on this path, I think I would have had a lot more happiness for seeing other people succeed in the past. Whereas like now when I see my friends succeed, it brings me a lot of happiness because I've also got what I wanted. But I wish I could have had that same emotion about their success in the past. I don't feel overly guilty about it because I believe that you should never feel bad about how you feel. It's what you do with your emotions that defines the character of a person. If you feel jealous, if you feel disgusted by something, it's okay to feel things because for the most part, you don't control your emotions. It's what you do with those emotions. And I never let those things come out on the surface, but I wish I could have enjoyed their success in the way that I would have now. And I think that being able to tell myself along the way, reminding myself it's going to be okay, would have smoothed out a lot of those dark times, whatever they happen to be. Seeing other people succeed and not having that myself, being put off by music, feeling like it wasn't going anywhere, I feel like it would have smoothed out a lot of those things so that the ride would have been a bit more enjoyable throughout.
I would go back to when I was 15 and I just got my first guitar and I took my first guitar lesson from a guy in Fargo where I grew up, and he told me, I remember the exact moment I was like, I want to learn more about scales. I want to learn more about, sort of, I didn't say music theory because I don't think I totally understood that at the time, but I wanted to learn how to play lead guitar. And that's what I was trying to convey to him. And he said, well, you write music. What you really need to know are chords. So learn how to play the chords, become a rhythm guitar player, write music. And I did that. And if I could go back to when I was 15, I would say, the lead guitar side of things is for everybody. It's not just for young boys. If you are interested in it, pursue it and do it at the earliest age possible. Right now is the perfect time because it's a lot harder to go back later in life and unlearn a lot of the habits that you pick up from just being cool with like learning how to play chords and accompany yourself. I would just go back in time and tell myself to be better at that. And this is something I've finally realized in the last couple of years. Like, you know, I'm going to have to undo a lot of the learning I've already done to become a better guitar player. And I just think it's like easier when you start out that way. Tony was 6 years old when she picked up the guitar, and she wanted from the very beginning to be like a rock star lead guitar player, and that's what she became. So that's probably what I would say. I would go back and I would say find a different guitar teacher, and you know, go for it.
God, there's so many. There's so many. But I'll say the first one that popped into my mind is, dude, don't underestimate the pentatonic. You're not going to find the holy grail memorizing every mode and jazz scale. You want to play music, not scales. And there's so much to get out of the pentatonic, so don't feel like you have to keep leaving the pentatonic to get fancier. You know, when you're younger, it's all about fancy, impressive and fancy, right? But ultimately, the goal is to make good music that like touches you or touches people. And just keep working on that pentatonic, man. Get good with that. Let the other scales fall in naturally.
I would have liked to have like dived in a little bit more with some of the jazzy stuff, like the modes and stuff like this. Now I'm just like, nah, because I never want to put that into my music. But I wish that as like I would have kind of learned a bit more about that when I was studying in college. But hang on, give my younger self some musical advice. Oh gosh, I don't know, you know, babes. There's a few things I wish I would have learned, which I'm not going to learn now because I'm too caught up in everything else I'm doing. But yeah, I guess I would just say, just be fearless and dive in and kind of never fear a piece of gear.
It will be that it will get better because when I was starting, it was like I didn't know what I was doing with music. Was just winging it, doing all the covers that I knew. I didn't have any strategy. I didn't have any plan. Um, and I felt really discouraged, like I didn't know what I was doing. And I would have told myself that just hold on, keep doing what you're doing. It will get better. Like there's no way it doesn't get better. Keep practicing, keep doing what you're doing. You will get better. It will get better. Life will get better generally, and you'll be fine.
Start practicing now. just don't just start now. Don't wait until you're 20, but take it serious now. I took the whole performing thing serious, and the business thing and the booking, and I took that part of it seriously, but not the guitar. I didn't take it seriously, and I regret that. So if I could, I would go back and say, stop what you're doing, put on your guitar, and actually spend 4 hours with it every day. And also, I think I would say it's going to be okay. Just breathe. It's okay to take a break. It's okay to actually sleep. Just, breathe.
Don't be afraid to make artistic music. So I grew up with a family of musicians, and a lot of the time I was afraid, like they did well, like my mom's side of the family, they did well, but they were very much working musicians and session musicians. And I thought that was basically what I wanted to do, session music work. And I was always like, all right, I got to make sure that I have enough session music to survive. So I'm going to play all these sessions and teach all these lessons and do all that stuff. At the expense of trying to like work on my craft of like, all right, what is it that I really want to say and really want to do? And I never thought that doing that sort of thing, making art, quote unquote, or like making my own personal music was financially viable. And so I've always struggled with that, and it's only been recently where I have like a YouTube channel to support, and Patreon. Thank you so much, patrons, for supporting my channel. It's patrons like you which make my channel possible. Not to be afraid. I think that's the big thing. Don't let go. Don't be afraid. Things are going to work out. You are the things that you project about your own life generally will come true. And so if you are projecting this fear, or projecting this small-mindedness, I guess, about like what you could do, that's all that you will be able to do. So I think that would be the thing that I would tell my younger self.
Calm down.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
I think back to 10 years ago when I was like getting out of music school and like trying to, oh my God, it was, first of all, calm down musically. You don't have to play as hard and fast as you can at every single opportunity. Calm down emotionally, where, you know, every little thing that happened or every little gig that I got or didn't get was like the end of the world. Or, you know, I went through a really hard time of looking at other players and being so envious and jealous of like, oh, well, they got this gig and, you know, well, that's it. They've made it. That's their career. And then looking back now, it's like, dude, that's not at all how it plays out. And understanding that this is a lifelong, like the longest term game. At the time, I was looking at it on a month by month basis. To calm down and really hone in on your skill set, find your voice, and settle in and just play the long game. I mean, that's really the thing. You know, I'll be 30 in a month on March 1st. And, you know, I think and I think this is probably indicative of a lot of people in their 20s, right? You kind of, you don't know what you're doing and feel like you're just spinning your wheels and everything. And just telling myself like, that's normal and that's okay. And that's where you're supposed to be, you know?
Do whatever I did.
That is what I like about you. I feel, you know, you get to a certain point with musicians of any age, like some of my friends are already talking about their teenage years being their heyday, when really you don't want that to happen at all. You want to be living in the present at all times and like being able to, you know, every bad decision you ever made makes up your story now. So that's a very cool answer. Thank you.
Yeah, I wouldn't change a thing.